So 9 years in, and you suddenly decide, or maybe it took you a while, that you're done sailing.
Yep. So basically, any stereotype you can think of a sailor or a mariner or somebody who lives this life, it's true. It's the drinking, the swearing, the womanizing, like it's all true. It's all true. Not of me, not of me, but I was very much the outlier among these guys. So in the the 9 years of shipping and the 4 years of the academy, and that whole time, I met one guy who was still on his first wife, and there's a reason for that. You're gone all the time, and it's funny. The biggest cause of divorce among mariners is not the being gone; it's retirement. So and a lot of times when these guys, you make such good money, you can usually retire pretty. You can like retire in your 50s, right? So a lot of these guys in their 50s, they have middle school and high school age kids. So wife has been at home this whole time, this whole 20-year, 25-year career, and they've just gotten used to you being gone. They've gotten used to how the kids are going to be raised and what the structure of the day looks like. And now all of a sudden, dad's home all the time, and dad's got ideas about how things should run and how discipline should happen and what kinds of activities are good and not and where you should go and which. And it invariably causes this huge clash. And what these people find out is you spent decades together and you really don't know each other at all.
Hmm.
And now that you're spending all the time together, you find out you don't really like each other. You actually kind of hate each other. And so you get divorced. She takes half your pension. You go back to sea, and you do that until you die.
Oof.
That's the story. And some of these guys have done it 5, 6, 7 times. So knowing that I wanted to be a family man, knowing that I wanted to have a stable marriage and actually see my children grow up and be there for things like their births and their big events and their graduations and weddings. And, these guys miss all that stuff. The reason this one guy, his name is Steve, he was a first engineer on one of my ships. The reason Steve was still on wife number one is because he made sure that he went back for things like that. He made sure that he's intentionally spent time with his wife. Like he was very intentional, even if it meant, leaving the ship high and dry sometimes. There's a very big culture in the military and at sea in particular of being a good shipmate. And usually, if somebody's talking about that, they're just trying to manipulate you into doing something that's good for them and crappy for you. Come on, man!
Hmm.
Don't be a bad shipmate. Be a good shipmate. And so, this idea of the first engineer, who, by the way, the ship cannot sail without, you have to have a first engineer, of him saying, "Sorry, guys, I've got a kid who's about to be born, and it's time. I've done my hitch. It's not my fault. You didn't find me a relief. I'm going home. Fire me if you want."
Oh, okay.
And now the ship, but hey, guess what? Miraculously, the company always found a way to keep things operating. They just didn't want to have to. They just wanted
Yeah.
him to stay there longer than he was supposed to. So he got kind of a bad rap from some guys, but I always respected him for that. I thought that was one of the strongest moves the countercultural move in that culture that someone could make was to actually prioritize their family above the
Yeah.
ship.